Yeah, welcome to Spirit Vale.
This is interesting.
Yep, so this is the first raid. You have several pieces of papers spread throughout the entirety of the raid, which kind of give deeper thoughts into the soldiers and stuff that died here, which kind of give into the lore, the authenticity of it all, as well as soldiers.
And your character speaks a lot as well.
Character speaks a lot and talks about what's going on, as well as the bosses talk as well.
Oh, that's nice.
Other than the first one does not, because the first one is kind of just like this entity, this
Yeah.
mysterious entity that kind of guards this area, which up here is pretty interesting. So I'm trying not to rush you. Like, you're welcome to just
Yeah, yeah,
chill
take your
and
time.
read and look. Yeah, you're welcome to read all you want, because I mean we're just sitting here talking and
There are a few bodies dotted around that we'll try and show you where they are so you can pick up some achievements as we go.
yeah.
Oh, nice.
Um, so you've got that going for you, which is pretty interesting. Um, the raid I feel is just really well put together. It's nice. It's what a lot of it's the level of polish in this raid is what the rest of the game really needs at this point.
Well, I don't think there's been too much negativity about the actual raid. I think problems of actually getting into it has been a little bit tricky. The
Uh-huh.
looking for group situation, but
Well, there's
yeah.
been one thing I have heard about the raid. When they did their big balance patch, the big balance patch pretty much smacked a couple of the build types.
Not too much. I mean, things
Not
like
really.
Berserkers
Well,
were really getting popular, and they sort of dropped off a
well,
bit.
I heard a lot about the what happening with the. Let me try that again. Well, I heard a lot of what was happening with the whole alacrity issue, where we're going
Hmm.
with a whole lot of mesmers because you go with Chrono. Happy Chrono is able to go. Oh yeah, everybody has infinite swiftness.
Yeah.
That doesn't have to do with the raid. That has to do with just the poor design on the developer and the class choice.
You want to come over here?
Yep.
Well,
So over here is actually pretty interesting because this is where the second raid wing, which they're going to release as soon as that.
Are you
oh,
sure?
okay.
Because like
Yes.
I thought they data mined it that it was further northeast, northwest. Sorry.
Um, I'm almost positive this is where it is.
Because I saw a data mine from that shaman, and the picture didn't look around here. Because look,
Yeah, it
it's all
looked like.
walled up. You
Can
know.
you see me? Can you see me drawn on the map?
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Okay, so it looked like it was like up here, right? That segment of the map.
Yeah. Well, we'll find out when it comes out.
Yeah.
But
Um.
apparently, it's only going to have two bosses.
Yep. And I'm okay with that.
As long as it's polished well, I would imagine that it's going to be fine.
As
It's
long, yeah, pretty much. And I mean, think about the amount of time it took us to clear. I mean, me specifically, it took me this long to clear
Yeah.
just the three bosses, and that's fine. And
Yeah.
I still have fun clearing the first boss, and
Yeah,
that's what
same,
matters.
same. Yeah.
I have fun doing the content that's there. It's not repetitive at all.
Yeah, it's no point going over there, Zero. There's not much going on over there. There's a few Pocket Raptors. This is actually where the first boss is.
Yeah.
I've actually seen this platform in videos. It's just I've never actually experienced it going, and definitely never been here.
Yeah, because
Uh,
it's walled off here. There is a big wall here that you can't actually get through until you clear the Spirit Vale Guardian. There's a body over here for another achievement point. Well,
it's
not achievement.
interesting how it's got the magical glow going on the radiating arms of this.
Yep. And then during the entire boss fight, like entire segments, like you can see how it's like split into three, kind of like segments.
Yeah,
Like a third of it will glow at a time, or even more as the boss fight progresses, like with colors like green, red, and blue. And
Yep.
it looks really, really good. Like I can't like there's like a certain aspect to parts of Heart of Thorns that just look really like polished and crisp, and the ground, the floor specifically, the design of it is one of those things. Like I don't know if you agree with me, Micah.
Well, remember, I have my settings slightly lower to
This
make
is
it
true.
run better.
This is
Um,
true.
but yeah, no, I generally think it looks good. But you know, if you run it on a full spec, then yes. But
That is true.
for recording purposes, I have to run it slightly lower settings.
That is true.
So yeah, here's the section where you get so you pass the Veil Guardian, then you get into another section which is kind of building up to the next boss. So you'll have to defeat a load of little mobs and make sure you do a couple of little mechanics, which isn't too difficult, to be honest.
Yep.
Uh,
And what I like here is that the tone of the raid kind of shifts to a much darker and
yes, yeah.
sinister approach.
Mm-hmm.
Because you have, first of all, when you enter the raid, you have the Guardian who's blocking you from really entering the raid at all. And you
Yes.
have a bunch of missing soldiers, pack soldiers, and your goal is to basically just go in and look for them. And what you see when you enter is basically just dead bodies, ghosts, and scary shit for the most part, and like magic, dark
And
magic.
Yeah.
and the fact that they're already calling it River of Spirits is kind of, yeah.
That's what it is. It's legitimately a river of spirits. Like that's how many people have been killed here.
Kind of reminiscent of Guild Wars 1 in the Realm of Torment, where you actually
Yes.
had, in the Abaddon's domain, you had something similar.
Yes,
Uh,
exactly.
this little section, again, it's so you got a little note over here. Um, so little bits of lore dotted around. This is, again, there is a challenge where you actually have to, like, it's like a speed challenge, and you have to run. If you don't run quick enough, then you'll get killed. And it's kind of a DPS check, so to make sure that if you have enough DPS, you'll be able to get through it fine. If you don't, then you're going to struggle.
Yep. So
Gotcha.
what you do is you start out and you're flying down here
Yes.
as a
You-
group, and you just kind of need to run through this entire section as fast as you can, and then you
But-
can kind of actually see the walls like on the map, like where the
Yeah.
walls spawn. Like one will be like right here, like the white area.
Oh, is that what it is?
Yeah, that's where the walls spawn.
Oh, there's a little chest over here.
Oh yeah, I forgot about that.
Yep, I'll show you where the rest of the chests are too. If you want to
Yeah.
grab that one first.
I actually got an exotic out of one of the chests the other day.
Oh,
I was
nicely
like,
done.
sweet.
Well, that's where you get the residue, ectoplasmic residue.
Yeah. So what you have to do is you're running and then you come up against the wall and you have to DPS. Don't go in there because you'll die.
I don't mind me. I'm just looking at it, and
Yeah.
that is nice.
I
Right.
thought you were gonna jump in. I was
like,
like,
look up, and look
Yeah.
around. Like there are like if you like, I don't know if you looked up at the very beginning of the raid, but there's a lot to look at. Like
yeah. But again, as you're coming along here, there's walls going on, and you're fighting. You've got enemies, and then you got a wall that you have to DPS here, and then eventually you DPS. You have to jump off and glide.
Yep, it's pretty daunting the first few tries, especially like in a new group. Trying to get through that gap is pretty fun because you have a bunch of people who don't know what they're doing, and they're
Yeah.
like, "We don't know if we have enough damage to get this wall," and you got this lumen death.
Yeah.
Well,
I
what's
mean,
rolling
Blackboard
up behind
wall.
you?
Yeah,
It's
pretty
like a
much.
mist. It's like a
It's
mist.
literally- It's
Yeah.
just death. It's just death. Death is behind
Yeah.
you. You got to get away from it, and then you have a gap in the floor, which you got to fly over, which I liked a lot. So then you
So,
get, and
yeah.
then so basically just a little bit packs back there is just basically where it ends, and then over here there's just a few trash mobs.
And now you're getting into the bandits, and this is
Yep.
where again you get a slight different change of tone. You've got all these graveyards that you can actually look at them, and they, what we believe, are white mantle graves.
That's
Yes.
cool because, I mean, White Mantle. it's worth it to bring. They kind of alluded to a little bit of them in season 2, if memory serves. When you were going in the one area where you collect the bits for Madri, it had White Mantle.
Yeah, so
there are kind of spots throughout the original world too that have mentions of the White Mantle as well.
Yeah.
With
This
the
what
whole
this
Sinister of the Cult.
Yeah, this grave here, it's only got or IS, and then it's the rest of it indecipherable. If you actually go back to Guild Wars 1, and one of the major White Mantles was a guy called Confessor Isaiah, and there's speculation that this is actually his grave, because it matches up quite nicely.
That's pretty cool.
And also, if you come up here, Zero, there is another chest.
Oh, there's a note.
Oh, is it? No, not a chest.
Yeah, it's a note. Oh, there might be a chest too, but there's a note.
So to get past this part, you notice that there's little buttons dotted around. Is it 6 buttons?
I think so, yeah.
Oh yeah, there's a
Maybe
note
5
up
or
here.
6, one of the two.
I actually like the design of the note.
I do too. Like it's like they provide enough to see where I don't feel left out.
Yeah, it's like crumble. Yeah.
And it's the notes provide a good amount of information. I'm talking about like not written information, but visual stuff to see. Like it's engaging. It's interesting to see. Now this.
But before you actually come and have a look at this, we'll take you on another section. Where are you going?
Well, I wanted to go see what that mushroom, like the mushroom thing, leads to a upper platform, and I didn't see what was on the platform.
It's just a button for actually opening the gate to get to the next section.
Oh, all right. Sorry.
That's all it is.
This gate right here is closed, actually.
Yeah.
You gotta use the buttons to get through it. So if you want to take a ride up here.
Yeah, ignore the next section. If you come over here. Now, one of the achievements is that you actually have to run and bring a torch and light this brazier, and you get the opportunity to... Because I guess you didn't do that for this run then, Joe?
No, we didn't.
Because you get to some stuff if you actually interact with it. Is it for the legendary armor? Or just for an achievement?
You get ectoplasmic residue in that chest.
Oh, yeah.
And
Another chest over here. Whew. Oh, yeah, there we go. I've got ectoplasmic residue from that.
Yep. There you go.
That's for the legendary back piece. Okay, so this is basically the respawn point for the next stage. So if you ever die, you get respawned back here. And obviously you've got adrenal mushrooms that you can use to refresh all your skills. But what happens is that if you notice, if you look at the sky above, there's that swirly sort of souls. That's where Gorseval comes from. So Gorseval is actually like people.
Yeah, he's a collection of basically angered souls. And it shows. Like I think that
the
this
first
boss
speak,
is one of the most like I've played a lot of games that have really dark tones and are pretty scary to see, like Dark Souls and Demon Souls and Dungeons and Dragons and all those games basically. Like there's some pretty dark and scary creatures. Gorseval is up there with some of the most disturbing I've seen because he's just like this grotesque looking creature's like he's missing like his lower part of his jaw and his face, and he's got like several tongues dangling down with like saliva dripping down, and you have several angered possessed spirits inside of him talking at the same time.
Yeah.
And they're angry and they just want to kill things, and it's it's just disturbing. It's the better, lack of a better term. It's disturbing.
But that's actually makes for a fantastic boss monster.
Exactly. You want to kill that thing because it's scary and it wants to kill you.
So during the battle, you will have to jump off and use updrafts.
Yep.
So
and when he spawns, he actually comes out of this portal above the map here, and I think that looks really cool too. He just kind of
So once you
looks like Mewtwo.
Yeah, once you've defeated Gorseval, this is the next stage. This is the Bandit stage. So this is where you're starting to get a lot of bandits that obviously probably are white mantle, but generally for now, just just bandits. And
Why
you
is
get to,
there a coil? Like, I understand for letting you know this is the direction to go next.
that is
Was
for
there
an updraft. It's updraft.
That's an updraft, yeah.
right?
It's
But
like a
it's the
tornado.
only. I was gonna say it's the only marked updraft.
Because when you're fighting Gorsel, there's actually 4 of them, and they're dotted around the mini map.
Yep.
Once you defeat Gorsel, it only becomes 1.
Yep. Disappears so that you know which path to go to. Which
So
I
there's a
think is
few
good
bits
design.
of supplies and stuff around here. Is that one guy still there? Does he still exist? The guy that throws bombs to you.
Pretty sure, yeah. I mean, I haven't killed him.
Oh no, he's gone. He's gone.
Oh, okay. He might disappear after
Yeah.
you unlock Sabbatha to
So
progress.
there's a bit where basically it's really interesting. You get this. There's a different part. The raid gives you a different mechanic where if you get hit, you're targeted. You'll get a bomb thrown to you, and then you actually get like this skill that will appear just above your like health bar. Yeah, I'd say, and you actually have to use this skill. It's like another skill, and most people don't have it assigned to anything. But basically, you throw it on this platform, and then you get bounced over.
Oh, interesting.
But yeah, most people have it like assigned as like the minus key. But that's something it's quite a unique thing. So again, you've got lots of things going on. This is more bandit territory. You've obviously got a crashed packed ship as well.
Yep, right above us. I think that's pretty cool. Like some of the stuff over here is like pretty expansive and looks pretty cool.
Okay, that because I was starting to wonder whether or not these ones are directly involved in the Aethers, because they're using technically pact / Aether technology.
Yeah. So yeah, that's basically from the pack ships. And this platform here, this is where Sabbatha is.
Yep, this is the last boss fight. This is where you fight her.
And you've got cannons that are dotted around up, sort of on the sides, and you got to destroy them.
Yep, if you look at these jump pads here, you can see platforms that are perpendicular to them. Those are where the cannons are, and you need to coordinate with your team basically to the fullest of their extent to take out the cannons in the order needed to basically clear the boss fight before the platform breaks completely. The entirety of that platform breaks, by the way.
Really?
Yep, the entire stage part breaks apart if you don't kill the cannons in time. It's not just damage, it's the threat of, the entire fight. That's basically her rage timer, even though she does have a rage timer as well.
And there is something cool. You get your bank here.
Yep. Bank and it's for cooking rather, but yeah, there's a bank there.
Yeah, I know. But yeah.
And then Micah, if you want to actually grab the rest of these people in the cages, I don't know if you've done that yet.
Well, the last time I'm missing 3 because last time it was bugged when I came through.
Yep, these ones are not bugged. Zero actually
sweet.
already opened the other cage as well, so if you want to go do that.
Yeah, cool.
Yep, and actually these guys give some pretty interesting backstory as to what happened. In a way.
Yeah, this is neat.
Right? And like your character talks with them and like consoles them.
One of the mercenaries went deeper into the jungle a few days ago. I keep hearing screams and seeing bursts of
And then
light.
here I think this is where they're gonna add another part of the raid down the line maybe. Like maybe this is where the second raid will be, but I don't know.
Well, just out of curiosity, are all the captured human?
I believe so, yeah. The final boss fight, Sabbatha, she's also human. And
You
all
sure?
the bandits, yeah, she's human.
Really?
Yeah, I looked it up.
But, see, I don't. Yeah.
Yeah, I know
Well,
the scale.
actually-
I know.
I was gonna say I can get behind that because you can go with she's been in here too long. The magics have messed with her,
Made a massive.
and
Yep,
the
she's
whole
really
idea is, if I remember correctly, the White Mantle were rather racist to start with.
Yes.
I mean, she's bigger than a bloody Norn, so it's just like.
Yeah, she's big. She's big. She's
Can
like.
you imagine if she,
giant.
yeah, if she was in a Zero? Jeez.
I wouldn't take her seriously at all.
I don't understand what happened.
I don't even want to think about that. That'd be pretty funny. And then she'd all sound all like intellectual and
Creatures came
stuff. I don't know.
Oh, yeah, cool, got it. I got the final one.
Oh, fantastic.
So I've got my hero completed.
taken away by soldiers.
Got a huge cluster on the way here. I don't think they'll
They haven't
bother
gone
us
too far
anymore.
though. They left on foot.
I'm not so sure.
Yeah, just still need the every time I do the Veil Guardian, I'm always doing the same attunement. I need to go on a Condi to actually get that.
He's the heart of this squad.
Yeah, but like this area over here, like I think they designed really well. Like I feel engrossed in what's going on over here. Like I'm seeing like all these soldiers and stuff going on. And,
Yeah.
like they're like houses over here. Like I think they forged them off of like basically like bamboo, what they had around the forest, which works.
Well-
but the fact of the matter is that they stayed here and lived here, like the bandits and stuff. Like
Yeah, they are all human, and I think it has to do with being chosen, like it was in Guild Wars 1.
yes,
There's one interesting thing about the houses over there. All of the houses are in the exact same style of the children of I'm blanking on their names. The girls or that. Let me try that again. Glint's children, the ones who like all of the
Zephyrite.
Zephyrs. Because if you look at it, remember the cliffside that we used to get to go visit before the Zephyrs were shot out of the air?
Yeah, the Sanctum.
Yep.
The Zephyr Sanctum, yeah.
Aren't these a tad reminiscent of the Sanctum?
I do think that they have a similarity, but I think they have a little swirling thing on the windows. I don't know if that actually represents the Zephyrite or if it's just a design thing that they've done.
I'm thinking it's probably just a design thing, but still.
Yeah.
yeah. I just think it's pretty to me to create such kind of like an engrossing and interesting lore behind something to make me actually consider how their lives were like over here. I think that they kind of succeeded in that area because like I'm sitting here thinking like some serious
Zero.
crazy shit
Did you
went
get-
on here.
Yeah, Zero, did you get the paper over here? Turn around, come back. There's a little piece of paper tucked away.
Well, I don't think any of it's actually counting for me because I haven't killed the Veil Guardian.
Oh, right, okay.
That makes sense. But you can also check your achievements because nothing pops up when you look at them.
Yeah, not
So
until you get all
you gotta
of them.
actually look at under the achievement panel under raids.
Oh, never mind. There's a whole bunch of things actually popping up.
Yeah, you just gotta really keep an eye on it, and that's one of the reasons why I'm just like, you really gotta watch like a hawk. Because
Well,
I didn't
just-
even know
yeah.
I didn't even know there was an achievement for the papers until I had like 5 or 6 of them, and I'm like, oh wait, where are the rest of these?
So what do you think of the Spirit Vale then?
I really like it. It's, to be honest, from the size of this map and the feel, it actually feels kind of like, I'm going to be honest, it feels almost the size of half of Verdant Brink.
I mean, to an extent, yeah, it's pretty substantial. I mean, there's not like the
It doesn't have-
layers. I mean, but
Yeah,
the design
it
of
doesn't
it
have the
is
three-dimensional verticality, but yeah.
But like for instance, like you can start up here and you can fly, down here, and then even from here you can fly down to lower parts of the area. I mean,
Oh, where's
you can
that
look
final
around.
chest, by the way?
It's in the cave.
Oh yeah, I'm an idiot. I walked past it
Yeah, next to the
by the bank.
yes, the cooking area. Yeah, I mean,
And the best part, it's just so beautiful over here.
yeah, it looks top notch, like polished. Like that's the best way I can describe it. Like it feels like they put effort and love and time into it. It doesn't feel rushed. and
Still-
that makes me pretty hopeful for like future wings and other parts of the
See-
raids.
For me, it's going to open here. This is where the next stage will open,
I think this could be possibly where it is, yeah, as well.
which would mean you'd have, because I feel that you are actually going to have to do the all three, and then you go progress to the next stage.
People, well, from what I heard from other people talking about, you just gotta kill Veil Guardian every time to access the either or one of the wings. So it's
I
like
think-
you gotta kill
yeah.
Veil Guardian to either access wing 1 or 2.
I
So-
think it'd be pretty
Then-
cool if you could actually, for example, because it's the whole raid wing setup, that you couldn't actually progress until you killed like Sabbather and such, because then people will still be looking for people to do these parts of the dungeon or the raid, sorry,
Uh-huh.
and so
Yeah, but
it won't
that-
like yeah.
You do that, you end up with one bigger problem.
What?
Okay, World of Warcraft talk for a second. Back when I played, Naxxramas was pretty much the thing because they just brought it back for Wrath of the Lich King. So whenever we go in for that, it was okay. Now we have to clear this wing, this wing, this wing, this wing, and this wing. And what ended up happening is generally my guild that I was with at the time, they would fall apart after the third wing. And we'd never get back to actually fully clearing it.
Makes
Because
sense.
what would happen is the next day, when we had enough people to be able to do it, it went, okay, now we're going to pick up from here. And half of the team would go, but I'm missing the items from the earlier boss A. And they go, well, we've already killed them. And they go, well, I'm not going with you guys. I'll find a pug.
That
Yeah, I
makes
can
sense.
understand that, but also, if for example, like I joined a group and killed Gorseval and Sabbather, I hadn't killed the Veil Guardian, then I'm still good. I don't mind actually progressing on as long as I join a group that's actually got it. For 1 week it might not bother me that much. I guess it's going to depend on the individual people, but I think right now it's kind of difficult to get into it and get another group, and it's kind of difficult still to pug. It's not. For example, to pug the Veil Guardian, you can do, but there's still quite a wide range of ability in people doing raids.
The only reason I bring that up was, let's think about it not with just Raid 2. Let's think about it with Wing 3 already up. If we actually have to go from the beginning all the way through the first wing to be able to reach the second wing, that indicates that to be able to reach the third wing, to even touch it, you're going to have to go through the first, go through the second, and then hit the third.
Mm-hmm.
And if they've got different mechanics that require different party builds for each wing, which is a distinct possibility, it could end up breaking certain groups that are trying to go through.
Okay.
I don't think that's gonna be an issue. I haven't been talking for the past few minutes because I was just kind of letting you guys talk, which is fine. This is coming from the perspective of a WoW raider, an early WoW raider. Like I played from vanilla launch to the end of the BC expansion pack because I didn't play at all through. I play basically up to the really big update right before Wrath of the Lich King. If that makes sense. I didn't play Wrath of the Lich King at all. So from that perspective, I feel the bosses in this raid so far are super fun and engaging. There's no repetition in them, in my opinion. Every time I play, I fight against them. I have a great time, and I want to come back and beat them just because they're fun fights. It's the most interesting content available in Guild Wars 2 right now, period. Because it's satisfaction you get when you do well, when you get a group like Micah and I. We will just literally just pug. like because we don't have coordinated teams. But when Micah and I, when we gather around enough coordinated players and we get that kill, it feels pretty amazing because we just took a bunch of random people.
Yeah, like
And
we did Gorsable last week. As a sort of we literally just me and Joe joined 8 other people. We actually had K0, who was oddly enough he was in our he's in our guild. He invited us because he said, "Oh, we just need 2 more," and yeah, we were like we spent about what an hour trying, and then we had one person change, and then we managed to do it. And a lot of people, it was the first time doing Gorsable. It was like, yeah, sweet.
yeah, and that's pretty much what you get out of the raids. What I found in WoW is that it was a mixture between just the actual combat itself just not being very engaging, and the fact that in this game, the content, the actual combat itself is actually, you have to be on your toes constantly. You have to move around constantly, and therefore you need to know all of your rotations of every skill, and basically know the full your class and your elite specialization to its full potential. And I feel that's what raid should be, and I feel like they hit the nail on the head like pretty much perfectly there. And the difference between this and WoW is that I feel the bosses, like, they basically were kind of the same, after a certain amount of time. I mean, you can only make so many certain variations of bosses over and over and over again. As of now, we don't have that in Guild Wars because there's only, like 3, which is fine. But from the 3 in the design, from what I've gotten so far, is they're really interested in engaging, and I have no issues going back to it, and that's what I want. So,
Right, I fully agree. Guild Wars, even though I haven't seen these bosses, even from just the dungeon bosses, generally Guild Wars has been doing significantly better in engaging you mechanically wise for your boss fights rather than World of Warcraft. The only reason I brought up Warcraft was just to bring up the concept of the shortcutting in between raids, like Wayblades.
yeah,
Because
and I also feel like that has to do a lot with the actual community of the game as well. World of Warcraft had a lot of negative people and elitism. Like, I don't know if you remember Eric Zepper. he was in our guild for a little bit. Like, he was a WoW raider as well, and he kind of had a how do I describe this, like an elite output to raids. And he came about raids in this game all the wrong way, and therefore he didn't do a great time. He just didn't clear that much of it because he was being elite about it. And like, you do need to be kind of that a little bit in this game as well. Like, you need to have, like, each person has to have like a certain set of amount of gear, and they need to understand their classes. That's fine, but a lot of it comes from just teaching people how to do the mechanics of the fight and being patient with them. Patience is, I think, is a very massive part of raid.
That makes sense. Yeah, the only main reason why I hadn't gotten into raiding was probably from that person's input, because when I first joined the guild, the Dude Guild here, Seth quite literally, I'm like, I want to join this before Heart of Thorns because I hear all these neat things coming, and I want to do scribing in a guild that's actually got more than 3 people in a house plant. Seth, and he's like, you can do all of the Heart of Thorns as long as you've cleared every single dungeon and have full ascended armor. And I'm like, I have not cleared every dungeon. He goes, well, you can do everything except for raid.
and that's kind of.
And now that's the guy that literally did the Veil Guardian, like tried it twice and then was like, "I'm not. This is boring. I'm not doing it."
Yeah. And that's kind of the wrong approach. And I mean, sure, the raids are only for, a certain demographic of people, that's perfectly fine. Like, people out there only play PvP, certain people only play World v World. But I feel as a PvE player, and actually as someone who, got into PvP as well, and just kind of spread their wings a little bit over time, I feel that Raiden is a really good spot for Guild Wars 2 right now. And even though, like, ArenaNet kind of fell back on their sight of what they originally wanted to do with Guild Wars 2, with it being kind of like casualized, hardcore, to the point where, like, if people want to put a lot of time into the game, they can, but the people who don't put a lot of time in the game, like, they can only pop on for a little bit and just kind of progress, they can progress, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
If they've kind of become, you need to sit here and farm this for a long freaking time and collect all these things, and that's just not a fun way to spend time. But I feel like Raiden, you can pop into a raid for a few attempts and still feel like you've progressed because you've gained knowledge and an experience in that fight. And that's one of the reasons why I have no problem joining random pugs. Even if I've done my raid clear of the week, I have no problems joining up and teaching and having fun, because that's just what I enjoy doing.
Going back to the entrance to the next wing, I think you both might be right. I think it might be a case where the wing opens from two different sides. It opens from the Vale Guardian side as well as from this side, allowing you to be able to either run as a progression straight from Sabbatha or skip it and head straight to the new raid wing.
That's possible.
Yeah. So what about you? What are your impressions of, this is the first time you've been into Spirit Vale. What do you think?
It's a very, very meticulous maps. Like, the whole area screams story. Because there's all these supplies built up everywhere. At least in this section, it definitely has a well lived in feel. And it gives you the idea that the Pact Fleet has been there for a while for them to be able to disassemble the ship this much and build it into their own uses. For the other areas, the River of Spirits is really messed up. And it indicates something's really gone wrong in Tyria for that to have happened. Which is great for building you up for the rest of this, because you go straight from nightmare horror land into, oh wait, these people are causing it and they live in it. The first area, like the first staging area for the Vale Guardian, it feels like a direct continuation off of the Verdant Brink map, except unlike just regular straight up Verdant Brink, it feels very like, it's not that it's clean, it just feels very straightforward. It gives you a direction, you're going in that direction sort of feeling.
Yeah, and I kind of agree with that. Like, I 100% agree with that, rather. And I feel that that's right in that they took the correct approach on that, because they want you to come in thinking, oh yeah, this will be interesting, and I mean, you're in a jungle, but they don't want you to know what's past the Vale Guardian. They want it to be a mystery, and then what you see is just like shit hit the fan, but they don't want you to see that right away. And I feel they definitely they hit the nail on the coffin on that part, that aspect.
Yeah.
And
cool.
I'll be honest, if I hadn't already gotten the spoilers of the White Mantle, this would have completely freaked me out a little bit, because it goes, oh yeah, crashed area, let's go hunt some bandit. Ew, that's the same sort of thing that came from Thermonova.
Yeah.
So there you go. I hope you've enjoyed your little tour of Spirit Vale.
All right, thank you very much.